Welcome back, 9:12 right now. So all morning long, we've been telling you about the bills that did and did not go forward during our state's legislative session. Perhaps the most high-profile thing both the House and Senate did was pass Initiative 940, which sets the standards for whether police officers can be prosecuted for deadly force. Under the old law, it was nearly impossible to prosecute officers, but the new law changes that standard and establishes independent investigations into uses of deadly force. Law enforcement across the state will also receive de-escalation and mental health training. So Brandy Cruz is here this morning, joined by one of the people who spearheaded this effort to change the law. Brandy, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. We're joined by Andre Taylor. Not the first time you've been here talking about this. It seems like we've been on this subject and this journey for you for a long time. It started after your brother was shot and killed by Seattle police. You were in the Senate gallery yesterday, correct, as this was being debated.
Yes.
So when the Senate passed the compromise version of this, what was going through your mind?
I was excited. I was excited because we helped write the quote-unquote compromise. I say the negotiated version. We helped write it with law enforcement. Both of us came to the table, and we believed that it was clarifying with I-940, and we were excited. I was thinking about what it costs to get to that place, the families, the blood on the street, what it costs to get to that point. And on the flip side, the potential of many lives being saved and communities being safer and building a beginning process of healing in our communities with law enforcement. That's what I was thinking.
You mentioned the compromise bill. I was saying earlier, I can't think of a more divisive issue in America than police officers, some of the shootings we've had, the use of deadly force. And then here we have in our state, Democrats, Republicans, community activists like yourself who were actually able to get together on this issue and find compromise. Was that surprising to you?
No, I was hopeful. What the initiative did with our 700 volunteers and 360,000 signatures, it put law enforcement in the position to have to come to the table, right? And I believe that they were apprehensive of coming to the table before because they might not have trusted the process or might have thought we were against police officers. But because we came together and we were able to sit down and have a conversation, they found out that we could work together, and that initiative process, winning that, made that possible. Mm-hmm.
Not everyone was thrilled, obviously, that this has gone through and that the law is going to change. You were in the Senate. You heard, I'm sure, the testimony of Senator Doug Ericksons, who was not in support of it, and he believes that the change in the law is going to put the lives of our law enforcement officers at even greater risk than they already are. What do you say to that?
Well, that's almost hilarious to me because the largest law enforcement organizations support what we've done. So I don't know where he got that from. I mean, WASPEC, WACOPS, FOP, they support what we've done. So he must not have listened to them. Everybody's not leaders. Everybody doesn't lead for the future. Some people are comfortable the way things are as they stand. But there are individuals that understand that sometimes there needs to be change, and this is one of those times in our state and our country. The country has been going through this. It's just a very volatile situation. Washington State happened to have the genius, the fortitude, and leaders in the legislature to see the future better for all people when they made a decision based upon that, and it was the right decision.
One question for you. There's been this conversation around, was this constitutional? You guys went out, you got thousands and thousands of signatures for I-940. And that is not, the language in I-940 is not what's going to go into law, because what lawmakers did, they passed I-940, and they passed a bill that went in and changed some of the language, and that was the compromise. So for the people who signed I-940, are they really getting what they signed for?
Yeah, let's not say that there are some things that we negotiated and clarified, right? For instance, one of the things that the same language will go, but there are certain things that were negotiated and clarified. Like, instead of officers having a paramount duty to save lives, they have a solemn duty to save lives. The reason why is because we didn't want officers to be in a situation where their paramount duty to save lives at the risk of their own lives. So we said there is a solemn duty, and we agreed to that. So there are little things like that that clarify what we were trying to say.
So you're happy 100% with this compromise that you got?
I think we've achieved history by bringing community and law enforcement together, and I'm happy for that, and I'm happy for the future. I'm ecstatic about what we've done.
All right, Andre Taylor, quickly, I'm going to have Representative Hayes on the phone, hopefully here at 9:30, a Republican who was part of brokering this deal. What would you say to Representative Hayes, the Republican who helped with this?
Courageous man. Courageous man. I shook his hand yesterday and thanked him for his leadership. He is an officer, and for him to see what the other law enforcement agencies see, and for him to speak about it openly, I think that he'll go down in history as one of those champions in our country that saw forth change and sought it and got it, and I appreciate his leadership.
All right, Andre Taylor, we appreciate your time this morning. I know it's been a long journey, and I know for you this is deeply meaningful for you and your family. We appreciate you being here every step of the way in that chair, talking to us and answering hard questions sometimes. So thank you for being here.
2 years.
Yeah.
Thank
Liz,
you.
back to you.